This little work squeezed in this tiny corner uh, is, forget even the name, oh, Gray Latitudes. It's a pastel, which a friend of mine beautifully framed in silver leaf. People seem to like it, but nobody really likes it enough to live with it, not unless I'm giving it away, which I'm not. My family, luckily, likes my work, so at my demise, they will own all of my work, and they could distribute it any way they would like. I've continued to do my little triangles. Lots of the work in here is just matted and put under acetate. This is kind of an archetypal tree form, and sometimes they bear those names, and it's very cheerful. And my dealer had seen a slide of it and said, "Is that a large one?" And I said no. But they kind of lose something in being translated into something large. But this is very, very charming, I think, and I don't mind keeping it. This particular piece also I had loaned to another artist for a while, and did this quite after the Zen period. And it's an oil on canvas. I paint with oil. I use oil bars, which, as a matter of fact, this work here is an oil bar. This is a better view. It looked kind of like a backgammon board. I don't even remember what I called this work. I don't have titles up near all of them, I don't think. Let's see what this says. This says board game, number 521. And it is oil bar on paper. I believe in using very good paper. I guess it's my visit to, not visit, all the time I spent in Venezia. One can get such great paper in Italia, you know. Fabriano paper is fabulous. This is a Zen piece too, although it's so dark and the reflections are so wild in here you could hardly make it out. But this one was called, I think Zen Rock, or, oh, it's called Wrapped Rock. That's what it's called. That's the title that came to me. And this one, I'll get a little distance on it, is an image with an open area. And so I call it Entrance, I think that's the name of it. And it's at a time when I really wasn't handling glazing very well, so lots of the surface is kind of dull, even though I'm attempting to do some blending and smearing. This doesn't have a lot of paint on it. The image is okay. The colors I approve of, but it's a painting that is a step on the road to somewhere else for me. Even though this has a lot of reflection, maybe I could just include this every once in a while in my studio. I would be moved to just do something, and very moved. It wasn't just do something, do anything, and I did do this, and I like it a lot, and there's another one I really don't want to part with, actually. Maybe I won't. Now we're in one of the corridors in which you could see lots of work hanging, and there's only two pieces like this, which is work inspired by the work of a child, which I fastened to the picture with paraffin, and then repeated the drawing of the child, kind of as a conceptual idea and as a salute to freedom and liberty and abandon found in the work of children. And this is another one of those, repeated again larger. And this was when I was teaching elementary school, and the child was drawing as I was teaching, and so I said, "What are you doing?" And he felt so guilty. And when I raved about his drawing and wanted to keep it, he was extremely surprised, because he thought he was going to be doing the wrong thing, when in my estimation he was kind of doing the absolute right thing. And here is a very loose grid, and this also here is a loose spiral. Now the spirals are a whole other story. It's another motif that I really enjoy using. The end of a small hallway is this. I like to use the rectangles that are of all that nebulous stuff going on. And people seem to like my monotypes of landscapes. I probably should do more of these. And that is one of them called Stormy Path. And that is number 664, saying that mainly so I can remember. I've given some of these away, and I haven't kept track of which ones I've kept, which is these two only. And this one is called Red Path, and it is number 662. And this is another corridor. This piece here at one time was a triptych, and the one that's missing is a very hot blue. They all had little painted designs on them because the inspiration came from a necktie ad I saw and loved in the New York Times, and I was thinking how various designs really that are out there influence or remain embedded in one's visual memory. And when the corporate curator from Neiman Marcus saw them, she immediately asked if I could do them 5 by 6 feet, and I did. So these get moved around. Initially it was for the Dallas store, and now I don't really know if they have been moved to another store or not. This little triptych here is something that can be hung anyway, and here are more of the dots. Lots of these have wonderful surface, and this bumpiness is created with underpainting of modeling paste, and sometimes modeling paste and sand. But if one would be curious as to content here, it's again the cosmic, enigmatic world. Down this way, I've sold some of these works, which were pastels I did in Paris in 1980, and you can see I really wasn't very happy then, but after the fact, now it's 20 years later, I've sold practically all of them. So sometimes things just go in fashion. And this is a triptych that's kind of difficult if I get some space on it, that I'm proud of. It's really the 3 pyramids of Egypt, but I'll get out of this noisy area, as I say, maybe do those another time. This is one of the dots that became spheres. Well, it's kind of crazy in here now, so I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking about the work. Business as usual. So I'll just continue around, give a little view. Now, this particular piece is one of the white triangles, and this particular piece here, which is a more successful one, is actually the swinging triangle. So I'm back again, another little view here. This work in the room. And this particular painting, which has a lot of nice secret little marks everywhere. Kind of nice. And down this corridor here, where there is going to be a lot of talk and craziness and activity, but just to give an overview of some of the work, raining things again. And
look, I want us to be clear. I think the mission here can't be to produce a Christ-like
and at the end of the corridor,
there's no market for that. Where there is a market is
very
where we
nice
give them
picture.
the